YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in Total War Shogun 2. Hope you all are ready for some more Rise of the Satsuma Republic campaign. At the end of the last one, we scored a major naval victory over the Sunpu and the Tosa, which was pretty awesome. Had some good explosion action. And speaking of good explosion action, our first comment for today is from Aaron Hunter, who says the Armstrong guns are actually insane. So satisfying when you get a good hit on a Rebel Scum blob. Love your videos, especially the historical ones. Well, thanks, Aaron. I'll be getting to more of your comments today, too, but appreciate that support. I am glad to be back, and we are going to continue the efforts that we had underway. I did notice back here at Suo that we were starting to have a little bit of unrest, but we also don't have much of a castle built here, so let's build that. We're going to need to build defenses. We're going to need to build up farms. We're going to need to recruit better troops. We've got a lot of things to do in order to be best prepared for the ultimate realm divide, which is on the way. We're going to be getting bothered by the Tosa a lot now, since they've turned against us. They'll probably have little onesie-twosie fleets that they'll send after us and just start bombarding ports and raiding trade routes. The AI knows that they can badly impact your income by doing all that, and it doesn't really work on them, but it will absolutely work on you. You'll see, like right here, these guys just set up a blockade on that trade route. And then when you auto-resolve, you lose a lot more vessels than you should. And so they're also counting on that. You know, they get a lot of benefits. There they go. They're going to get out of here. I'm going to have that fleet go ahead and repair, and then I'll do some more work on getting rid of these ships around back here. So, yeah, sometimes the best thing you can do once you get armored vessels is just have, you know, strong but small fleets. Being in a lot of places at once versus having a large, very powerful fleet that can only be in one place at a time. It's kind of a trade-off thing that you end up in, and, you know, like I said, it's kind of up to you on how you want to run it. We captured Awaji, trying to get this converted over. I'm going to go ahead and spend some effort improving it. Maybe go ahead and do large town this time, and the gambling den, and then I'll improve the fortress there. So let's do that. It's going to be about all the money I have for this turn. Wouldn't be anything else crazy going on. So I've kind of been turtling here, and you know, again, this is kind of a play style thing. It's up to you on how you would take this. Some people like to continue to be aggressive. Some people would probably point out, well, you could conquer a lot faster. Yeah, I could. I'm just playing it safe. But that's really all there is to it. But the idea of playing it safe is so that we can be more prepared in the end. Okay, let's see. So we finished that turn, got a little bit of cash back on hand. Let's go back over to Awaji because I'm going to need to improve the castle here. It's going to take most of my money this turn as well. This little Tosa fleet here is likely to be bombarding. They already have. See, like that hurts my farm fields. It's going to cost me money, and it's going to cause me a loss of income. So we're going to need to get rid of the Tosa. The Tosa are just going to be a huge thorn in our side with these tiny fleets. They've got a Kasuga-class corvette here. I'm going to quick save because I shouldn't take really hardly any damage at all, if any, since I outrange them and outmatch them. But like I said, the AI has done stupider things before, so forget. Let's go ahead and auto-resolve. Yeah, see, they look at that. I mean, how is this even possible? The auto-resolve is just absolute filth garbage when it comes to naval battles. Like, it's not accurate in the least. It rarely gets it anywhere near right. So see, like right here, I need to repair my vessel, and I can't because I don't have any money. Which means I'm gonna have to come back here and slow this down again. Let's actually just go ahead and build the castle. I'll slow down this one. It's less important. And then let's go ahead and repair my vessels here. So really, you have to play every naval battle unless you want a very poor outcome. That's just very frustrating. And it's funny because the same problem still lives on in Total War over 10 years later in Warhammer 3. It's one of the things that's on their roadmap right now of things to fix. You just hit that port again over there, the Tosa did, so it's blockaded. Be nice if the Choshu would go ahead, since they have basically unlimited income. It'd be great if they would go ahead and defend their own port rather than allowing our trade to be continually disrupted. It's pretty frustrating. Okay. So we got a blockaded port off of issue. Let's see. I have an armored. Well, I don't know if it's armored, but I have a frigate, wooden frigate at least. Yeah, I don't believe it's armored. Yeah, it's wooden hull. I need to re-recruit this unit as an armored vessel, but kind of busy with other things at the moment. Trying to get Awaji under control. Are we collecting taxes on them? Yes, we are. Okay. We are collecting taxes on them. The fleet is repaired, so I'm going to have to go free up this port from yet another Tosa blockade. And I'm going to have to play this, or else they're going to cheat me of a lot of damage on my ships. I mean, unless this is 3 armored frigates, then they really don't stand much of a chance. All they have is a gunboat, Conran Maru, and a Kasuga. Now, the Kasuga is the only decent ship they have. Again, I have them outranged, and I have torpedoes. I'll go ahead and play this. I guess I'll show myself destroying their ships just to prove the point, and so that you can have some battle action. Alright, that really just wasn't worth the time to go record, so I'm not going to include it. You can see it was a very clean, clear victory. I lost a few men on a couple of my ships. Nothing that was very severe. The Tosa got absolutely stomped. So there we go. So knock them off of that port again. That's once again going to free up a considerable portion of trade income for me. I need to go repair this fleet again. We're going to have to eventually park someone here to protect these trade routes, but at the moment, I just don't have the resources available to do it. Awaji is multiple turns from really being stable, and I'd like to be saving a little bit of cash in the meantime so I can do a little bit more infrastructure upgrading before we really fully commit all of our funds to war, which is coming soon. Definitely coming soon. Like I said, before we get fully committed into just all-out war and spending all of our income on large armies and navies, I want to get myself in a very solid position first, so that we can continue to afford that war. Because if you go in and do it, at a time like this, then a single bombardment, a single shift in anything. When things look, we got bombarded again by a little onesie fleet back here. I probably won't be able to find that fleet, but we could go ahead and try and go blockade the Tosa just to prevent more of their ships from sailing out here. Let's go ahead and do the small repairs that we have here. Shouldn't be a big deal. Waji's in good shape. Fields. Alright, so we've got a little bit of cash on our hands. Trying to think about places that need really good defenses. Do we have Gatling towers? So like here, I have a Gatling tower at Bizin. Mimasaka does not have a spot for it. But we'll want to, it's good to have a couple of fortresses, at least in a few places. Ego, for instance, has matchlock towers. Let's go ahead and put Gatling towers here. That would make it kind of a hard target in case the Choshu turn against us. And it looks like we could do the same thing at Bungo. So let's save our money and do that. So again, it kind of hardens up our borders, makes it more difficult for someone to just steamroll us via land. It doesn't mean they couldn't land a navy behind us, which they could. We'd have to deal with it, but having even just a few hard targets can go a long ways sometimes into slowing down enemy progress. Makes it difficult for them to get through. I want to say if we get gun batteries, it can help prevent the bombardment of our ports. The Sui have joined the Imperial cause. Province was bombarded again. Alright, so it's a small Sendai fleet. It's over here causing the trouble. No damage was caused that time. And it looks like the Choshu at least put a ship in their port, so that's handy. Let's go drive this Sendai vessel away. I figured this would be the Tosa. Nope, there they are. Speak of the devil. They shall appear. That's where I hate this. Let's see how bad the auto-resolve screws me. Only kind of bad. Alright, let's do it again. Tosa got sunk. These guys are going to sit here and get sunk as well. It's like a single chitin. Screwed again. Whatever. At least those 2 fleets are gone, and it's adding to the experience points of this fleet. Hypothetically speaking, at least, which should make them more accurate. So there we go. Got that done. Protected our ports. We've got a little bit of cash once again. We need to save more so that we can build up the defenses at Bungo. So let's go ahead and end another turn. Okay. Choshu are very powerful. It's going to be interesting because eventually it's going to happen. Like, we're going to go head to head. I say they're very powerful. They at least... Ooh, a British military mission? Enables the recruitment of elite British units from this district. 5 to the accuracy of ships. Let's accept the British military mission. It's pretty awesome, in fact. Port, trading port, military port. I'm trying to remember... That like happened at one of our ports where we accepted. Where was the messages? Construct. Yeah, I guess it already went away. Dang. I can't remember how it works. I can't remember if there's like a certain province or port, or if you can build it anywhere. Ferry port, trading port. So if I go into... That should theoretically give me access to the British Ironclad. Iron plating, military ports. I don't remember how you get the military mission. Dang. Let's look at some of these places. Barracks, carbine cavalry. War college. Showing us some of the different things here. Crap, I cannot remember how to get that. Maybe it's trade port? Enables American Trading District. Yeah, okay, so we need to go up a trade port route. I've already got a port here that is in good position to do that. So let's build the trading port. Okay, sorry, it took me a minute to remember that. It's been a long time since I've played this game, at least in this regard. Like, I played a campaign not that long ago, but it's been a while since I've had to go through this part of it. Let's see. All right, let's end our turn. I'm gonna wait on that building. Save a little bit of cash. Let's get to a couple more comments here while I'm going through some of these turn-ins. Sebastian King says, hey, are 2 things. I believe Black Bear Infantry are Imperial troops, so they'll be disbanded when you turn Republican, as will your Ishin Shishi agents. Second, I love the evil laugh after every really cynical joke about your enemy. Makes the videos much more enjoyable. We're glad you enjoy it, Sebastian, and thanks for the tips on the Black Bears and the Ishin Shishi. It sounds like we should probably just steer clear of those, because eventually we're going to become Republic. We were bombarded at Suo again. We had trade routes raided. I am not surprised. Damaged our barracks. Jerks. I mean, at least the Sunpu have more than one ship at this point, which is an improvement to their typical behavior. Sendai already back with another copper-plated ship. Screw me too hard, only a little bit. And let's get over here and get rid of this Sunpu fleet. It's going to be a ton of fleet cleanup, because the AI has never-ending resources in this regard. They have a frigate, a chitin, and a Konranmaru. I don't expect this to be a difficult battle, but I'm going to fight this one manually. I will actually go ahead and show this one, just since it's a different battle, and we got to get rid of that frigate. All right, welcome to the sea, and I'm going to give you an example here of how we use my Kotetsu Ironclad in order to draw the enemy fleet closer. Now, you have a couple of options when it comes to Kotetsu. You can fire its gun manually, and you can even do it from beyond your active range. Or you can do what I'm doing here, or at least what I like to do. The Kotetsu outranges standard vessels, and so what I do is I steam forward until I see a shell fire, and then I put the engines in reverse and steam backwards, pulling the enemy fleet forward into the loving embrace of my ironclad iron-armored warships here, or armored warships. So they're going to be significantly more powerful. So I've got my Kasuga and my frigate waiting here, and as the enemy ships come into range, they will suffer the first volleys. And then, of course, another thing you can do with your Kotetsu, especially if you're fighting against wooden ships, and I would recommend this if you're fighting against wooden ships, is switch its shot over to explosive shells fairly early, because again, even with the explosive shells turned on, the Kotetsu outranges the enemy ships, even with the explosive shells. Now you can see I got my first volley off here with my frigate, and my Kasuga should be opening fire. Now they have both automatically fired at the closest ship, which is irritating, because that's a Conran Maru class ship. It's not very significant, or a Chiton at best. I think it's a Chiton. Yeah, it's a Chiton corvette. And their frigate did not take the savage volleys early that I had hoped it would. You have to click some of these orders manually sometimes to ensure that you're going to get that. You see here that I do send a volley out onto their frigate. I'm going to hit it hard. And I'm going to let my Kasuga deal with the Chiton. It's steaming off over there to my right flank. And it's on the left hand of this screen. Again, look at my frigate changing targets there, even though I had clicked an attack order on the frigate. It shot at the Conran Maru instead, so gotta watch this. I did put some torpedoes in the water. This is basically just to disrupt the enemy advance. You don't always score hits with these torpedoes, but again, the idea is that I'm gonna make the enemy ships change their maneuvering tack and have to maneuver around in the middle of a firefight. So torpedo boats, even when they don't score a hit, can still be very useful. Look at that, that explosive shell caught the enemy frigate on fire. And now that the distance is closed, you'll see me switch some of my other vessels into explosive shot, because we are firing. See right there, that's exactly what we did. The enemy frigate catches fire and surrenders, and this leaves just the Conran Maru and the Chiton steaming out in the distance. Those torpedoes did not connect. Actually, did one of them connect? I don't know if that's what caused it. Regardless, the Conran Maru explodes and leaves only the Chiton class vessel, which is now taking some pretty heavy fire from my Kasuga, and it surrenders as well, and so we have a victory. Yeah, that was a good victory for us. I really don't know how we lost so many troops on these boats. I don't remember that being the case during the battle, or the same thing with all the damage on my torpedo boats. Like, I don't know, these naval battles feel broken, period, whether you fight them manually or not. It feels like the AI is always getting away with something, regardless of how you handle it, but whatever, there we go. Solid victory. Driven them away, so the Sunpoo driven back again. Let's go see, I can't remember. Sorry, allergy crap. I do take medicine for it, but you know, allergies are allergies, so. Alright, we've got our Gatling towers on the way. So that should be handy, and then Higo, it's only a few turns from completing said Gatling towers. Got access to another port here. I've got a military port at our main, or our capital, so I think I'll keep it that way. Then how is Awaji doing? So it's flipped over to Imperial influence. I think for at least the time being, I'm going to put a police station here. I don't think those buildings keep getting used if we flip to Republic. Could be wrong, though. Let's see. Concertunes or Concertunes says, honestly, the thing I'd like to see most in a redone Shogun 2 would be the ability to upgrade your units a la Rome 2 onward, especially the naval vessels. Yeah, like, it doesn't make sense why you can't add ironcladding. I agree. And other upgrades would make sense, like taking a line infantry, just being able to upgrade it, you know, to those other troops, retrain them. That would be cool. I think it'd be better, like, the UI is outdated and the controls are outdated. I'd like to see both of those things updated. I don't think they would have to do much to the graphics, but it'd be pretty neat just for them to rework the graphics engine. I believe it's a 32-bit engine that can only recognize up to 3 gigabytes of video RAM The game engine itself only uses like a single or maybe 2 threads off of your processor, so it'd be nice to see that stuff updated, because it keeps this game from being a little more modern. But honestly, like, I think it's cool that this game holds up so well after a decade. In fact, I'd say that this is one of the best aging Total War games there is, in my opinion, at least. I think that this one has aged extremely well. I think Medieval 2 did a pretty good job aging as well. But you know, those games are getting old, and they're gonna feel the change, right? Now that said, we have a new game, Warhammer 3, that's got all kinds of issues they got to fix as well. So just being new doesn't necessarily mean that the game is great. However, I will say this: like, amongst my issues with Warhammer 3, the UI and the controls are not it. Those things function quite well. Most of my arguments are the same old boring arguments that we've been making for a very long time, which is that they don't have, you know, like a good auto-resolve. They, you know, the AI does funny things. The way they've set up the campaign, they didn't have the big map ready any sooner. And some people keep saying on that one too, which I know this isn't really necessarily the place for that discussion, but I've seen people since I made the video about me hating the Warhammer 3 roadmap. Some people are like, well, Air, it takes them a long time. I know it takes them a long time to make it, and I understand why it takes them a long time to make that big map. However, I mean, they shouldn't have released the game until they were ready with the big map, or at least more ready, right? That's the mistake I'm saying they made, right? I'm not faulting them for it taking a long time to develop a gigantic Total War campaign. I understand that takes a great deal of time. I just saw a big fleet moving towards us. Here it is. This is the Aizu. The Aizu have a large fleet and a large army. That is troublesome, to say the least. I'm going to scupper this wooden frigate. Drop it off of our upkeep. I have a dry dock here. Let's get into recruitment. I think that for the sake of upkeep, I'm just going to get some armored Kasugas. They perform pretty darn well. And pair them with a torpedo boat. So this would be a relatively more affordable. Like, so for not much more upkeep cost, I can get 3 ships versus, like, say, the 1 Ironclad or armored frigate. So I'm going to shift this navy. They no longer need repairs. I'm going to shift this navy to intercept that Aizu fleet. I don't know exactly where the Aizu fleet is headed, but we need to intercept it. Honestly, I may have to recruit those Kasugas and put it in this fleet, because that's a large Aizu fleet headed this way, so we may need to consolidate our navy for the next few turns and work on that. Let's end another turn. Enemy agents working at Harima, Choshu are busy. If we can hold Awaji, I want to move against the Tosa. The risk, though, that if I move against the Tosa, that we're also going to trigger kind of the whole realm divide scenario. But yep, that fleet continues to move closer to us. See the Sunpu doing their thing there, so we have a foreign veteran increased in rank. Let's go take a look at him real quick. Snyder Breach Loader would be good, and then supervising recruitment is probably a good start here. Supervising recruitment, okay. All right. So the army at Awaji, what is finished? Many things are finished at Awaji. Let's see what happens when I pull my army. Yeah, they get upset. My agent doesn't seem to make much difference on that. Let's go ahead and train some garrison troops here. Might hire an Ishin Shishi as well to keep around, just to kind of help keep this place calm. I'm thinking we can probably calm Awaji. I'm going to exempt them from tax for the time being, just to make sure we don't get a rebellion. So I'd like to... Can't move across at the moment.
Without delay.
So I don't have enough movement points in any case. I'm going to try and get across here and take the war to the Tosa. I think Awaji will be able to stand on its own. It's got a somewhat improved garrison. Thinking about improving the city, though, and putting in some towers. We also need to improve to commercial farming. Do that, because that'll help score us some more money. Anywhere else where we haven't done the commercial farming, we really kind of need to be doing that as well. Because the commercial farming is just going to be increased cash. And then we need to get our British trade district in place. That torpedo boat is finished, and our Kasuga class are 2 turns away. It's going to be close. Hopefully the timing's right to intercept the Aizu. Also, ooh, holy cow. How did the Tosa just walk right past me? That does not make any sense whatsoever. I was sitting right there, and they just walked right through my army. Unless they were already hidden in an ambush, maybe? I do not understand. This is confusing and stupid. So now the Tosa are going to steal my settlement. I don't know. Someone can explain that when I'm all ears. Like, as to how that happened. Maybe, like I said, maybe they were hidden. I don't know how they dropped off troops there. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, and then they got into an ambush. And all of that's very confusing to me. Let's take a look at the terrain there to try and get a better idea. That unfortunately means that I lost the province, and then I started taking attrition. Alliance broken between the Sioux and Choshu. At least we will start taking attrition. We may not have yet. Yeah, we did. We started taking attrition immediately. So, I mean, maybe they were hidden here. Like, they'd come across, I didn't see their crossing, and they were hidden here. And then, it's still a very odd scenario. Like, very, very odd. Their daimyo is there? I'm going to try and assassinate him. I have a very good chance of pulling that off, but, you know, I still can't reach them on this turn, so I'm going to take even more attrition. How? First of all, why is it taking up so many of my movement points to walk through here? And then, again, they had to have been hidden here. Otherwise, that makes no sense. They couldn't have walked past me where I was at. At least I don't think so, but what a screwball turn of events. That is so stupid. AI shenanigans, folks. AI shenanigans. Always shenanigans. Improve the farms and the port there. Suo doing Suo's a little happier now. Okay, that's good. Let's end the turn, save our cash, and then we'll get a final battle for this episode. Yeah, okay, wow, the Tosa came out to fight me on open ground. Good on them. I mean, they're gonna die, but good on them. Now, the Tosa were feeling quite certain that there was going to be a victory on hand for them. Their large numbers, their capture of Awaji, leaving air completely confounded, and the Satsuma Republic suffering a setback. No doubt this added to their confidence, but their confidence was soon to be challenged and possibly even shattered. As they topped the hill, walking towards battle, they were opened fire on by the heavy Armstrong guns of the Satsuma Republic. This is not going to be good for the Tosa forces. So early on, they start to suffer heavy losses. Not all of their troops are visible, but you can see these men materializing out of thin air, which means that their troops are not visible to me. They're moving through woods. However, just because I can't see them doesn't mean that cannonballs don't hurt. In fact, folks, cannonballs do hurt. Now, the elite troops of the Tosa, the Red Bear infantry, become visible as they move out of the tree line, and this is great for the Satsuma because it just means that these are now going to be more target practice for the Armstrong guns. We don't want to classify them as victims. They may not like that. So let the bombardment continue. So I've got my cannons splitting their fire. One of them is going for some Red Bears. There's another Red Bear that comes out, and these units are heavily chevroned and will be vicious gunfighters if they get into range, but I do not expect to allow them into range without having significantly declined their numbers first. See there, that was a direct hit onto one of the Red Bears, causing extraordinary damage. There are 3 in total. You can see 2 units up front and then a second line here. The fact that they're lined up is really quite good for me. You can see the shrapnel shot flying in now as well. And a haze of blood. More Red Bears drop. So the enemy has a long ways to go before they find my firing lines. I'm spread thin on my firing lines intentionally but I can get more bullets. I have sharpshooters on the flanks, one in the middle, in order to give me the first volleys in the middle and to draw the enemy in further, cause significant damage to them. I've used the Inspire ability on one of my Armstrong guns. I'm trying to get it to do even more damage where the battle is joined, so that was the sound you heard there a moment ago. So we have Inspired. And then on the flank, I had a Saber Cavalry engage an enemy Saber Cavalry, and my own Yarikachi is trying to defend against more cavalry charges. There was quite a bit of enemy cavalry that ran up on my flank. My Saber Cavalry is probably toast. My Yarikachi should be able to hold the remainder of the flank. The enemy forces are moving into range, and my sharpshooters are just about to open fire. These troops have superior rifles and have better range. So the idea here is to get a volley, cause some extra damage, and then fall back behind my own lines so that my line infantry can take it from there. Sharpshooters do not really want to be involved long term in a gun battle. Now, my left flank, the enemy's right flank, they have heavily overloaded it. I'm going to be using my Yarikachi to intercept their spear levies. I should be able to hold them pretty well, and you can see the massive, huge gun battle getting started. And the gun battle not going well for the AI so far because my cannons have significantly pulverized their best troops. This leaves mostly their levy troops in order to face my line infantry, and my line infantry will cause pretty extreme damage. They have a matchlock Kachi that like just straight up kamikaze right up into my forces. I'm going to start folding in my right flank into their left. And then meanwhile, I've got a holding action over here with my sharpshooters against the enemy cavalry. And I was able to cut down near all of it. The spear levy that found its way into my line infantry, I'm going to be inspiring this line infantry with gunbate and rallying it. So it will definitely win that melee against spear levy. Spear levy, not always great against line infantry troops that have been upgraded or have significant chevroning. You can see that that's the case. The spear levy routes, and really now at this point it's just a matter of finishing the fight. Got some brutal close quarters line battles here, and some spear levy charging in on the enemy's left flank. So those levy infantry will find themselves overwhelmed. The Armstrong guns have never ceased firing at this point. You can see the enemy just under extreme artillery fire at almost all times. There is a General Haramoto. This is where the enemy daimyo was, and it was making its way towards my Yarikachi. Not a great place for it, so it decides to steer out of that fight. And as it comes across the battlefield, it's potentially going to come under fire from my line infantry. But at this point, the Tosa just could not take the fire anymore, and they have retreated after being massively defeated on the open battlefield. Unfortunately, I dropped a Saber Cavalry there and some bad decision-making, but otherwise we defeated the Tosa with ease. As expected on that open field battle, they just get outgunned and outperformed by my far superior troops, especially because of the Armstrong guns.
Let us
They want me to...
like sensible men of many things.
Trying to
and
offer,
so
like,
reach some
joining
accord.
wars with each other. I'm just not interested in more wars at the moment. We've got enough going on, and we've got enough to take care of. Bishop Link says, really good episode. The artillery in this game is impactful. Yes, it is. Bethany says, those Armstrong gun barrages are absolutely brutal. Loving the videos. Well, thank you, Bethany. Yeah, they are. Like, the people are all saying here, the artillery is insane. It's extremely effective. Armstrong guns are, at least. Other artillery is not bad. Like, Parrot guns aren't bad. A Neilfire could be good to get a little extra firepower out, and suppressive fire is very good. When we lay down suppressive fire, we can get a lot of extra work done. Armor-piercing shells may become necessary. They're not right now. Let's see, Imperial. This is a bunch of... I mean, I would love to have access to Gatling guns. Gatling guns are really cool. Difficult to get to and build. Neilfire would be something we could take advantage of quicker. I'll go ahead and do Neilfire, and then we'll try and get to Gatling guns. Take a look at a few things. Our fleet is finished, so let's join the two. And let's see... Great, the Sendai fleet has disappeared. Yeah, I can no longer see the Sendai fleet, so I do not know where it has sailed to. I'm gonna need to retake Awaji. Hopefully they don't destroy any more of my units here. I'm gonna... For some reason it won't let me quick save. want to let me quick save. Is it because the fleet was in motion, maybe? Should be able to quick save. I'll try Control S here. Yeah, there we go. That quick saved. Now let's hit Awaji, and I'm going to auto-resolve. Everything's good. Retake our settlement. It was ours to begin with. We're going to have some repairs to make here. The trading port got wrecked by the Choshu, who were attempting to support us there. Gambling den. Okay. So, that should be it for this episode. We are down a Saber Cavalry, which really frustrates me, because it's going to be hard to get it back, but we'll work on it in the next episode. We have a large fleet put together. We are well on our way to the British trade mission, which we should be able to get on the next turn. Let's go ahead and end a turn, and I'll start building that. That way I don't forget it into the next episode. So we'll build that British trade mission. It's going to take a lot of turns, but that would give us access to Royal Marines and hopefully a really awesome Ironclad. It'd be extremely expensive, but it'd be brutally effective in naval battles. It can stand on its own against quite a few. Okay, now they're sailing back to their own territory. That's a good place for them to go. So now I can split my fleets, and we'll operate in two different places rather than all in one. Trade disrupted. All right, let's get into here. All right, there's the British trading district on the way. So hope you all enjoyed this episode. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you all soon with some more action in the Satsuma campaign.